Get ready for change to elevate your future, your thinking, your life. One relationship, one thought, one decision. You're closer than you think you are. Make a decision and decide where to be inspired. Hey, everybody, it is Coach Randy Bird, and I'm excited to be here with you today to talk about really an important step for entrepreneurs, specifically real estate brokers, lenders, and title. These are all really positions that can scale very easily and very nicely. So with no further ado, I'm going to start the presentation. So number one, the critical hire. Are you the assistant with an emphasis on, you know what? Listen, my name's Coach Randy Bird. Don't be the assistant. I make fun of that, but they're the most important roles in your business, likely. So I'm going to teach you proven coaching tactics for the perfect hire. You cannot afford to not do this, right? You can't afford not to do this. For the past 20 years, I've been a real estate broker, 30-year general contractor, and I've been building businesses and coaching teams for growth for their first hire and scaling their business for a decade. Up to teams of 100 agents and beyond. So here's some of the things that an assistant will provide you. Freedom to scale, freedom to travel, freedom to mingle, freedom to network and collaborate and do all the things that your highest and best use will allow you to do while leveraging those other tasks. So first of all, how do you scale and leverage with your first assistant without the loss of productivity, time, and massive problems, right? So proven hiring techniques and tactics. We're going to show you a training structure for finding the right real estate assistant. And this goes to all entrepreneur businesses. It could be lenders and title. It could be contractors. It could be business owners. But we've got to find a way to scale our businesses through leverage. So one of the ways we do this is, why is this important for you now? Most agents I've asked are dead wrong. They don't understand when to hire the assistant. They don't understand when to train them and to release them, an important part. And they also don't take action because of uncertainty, and this usually around finances. All right. So let's talk about this. What you're going to learn today. What you're going to learn is that there's really 4 pillars to hiring an assistant properly. Number one, how to hire. And I'm going to teach you how to hire now through a couple tools and tactics that are very simple. How to gain your productivity back by leveraging things in your business that are not income-producing activities, as you see in the next pillar. And the next pillar is just that, focusing on IP. I wish it was beer. It's not IPA beer. It's income-producing activities. And this will allow you to simply double, if not triple, and 10x your real estate and or production entrepreneurial business. So I'm going to show you how to do that through this effort. So next slide is, this is only for the agent that is ready to leverage, ready for committed to get more listings, and understand it has to happen now, right? It has to happen now. Is this for you? If you want to have leverage in your business, this is for you. If you want to work with more sellers, this is for you. The only way to do that is through leverage. If you have massive time issues and you want time freedom, this is for you. If you're worried about hiring because of payroll or admin cost, this is for you because you're going to see the true assistant return in the coming slides. So here's some resource books that are valuable for you. The Leader Assistant, great book by Jeremy Burroughs. EOS, what the heck is EOS? Entrepreneur Operating Systems by Gino Wickman. And it's a great book. His dad is Floyd Wickman, a legend in the industry. And Michael Hyatt's your world-class assistant. Great resources. So here's the house rule. This is not for control freaks that can't let go. P.S. I am a recovering CF. I am. And the sooner you understand to let go of this, the better. So confession, not all assistants were good hires. Sometimes you don't have the right person in the right seat at the right time. Those 3 things need to happen somewhat together, right? You could have the right person, but it's not the right time in your business. You could have the right time in your business, have the wrong person. You can have those two and have the right seat at the right time is not in place. So I'm going to help you with all these things as we progress. So when you assume, you know, and make an ass out of you and me. Ancient Chinese proverb, JK. I think I made that up. LOL. So don't make an ass out of you and me by assuming. Right. Here's the initial conflict we have with an assistant hire, the money conundrum, right? I don't have enough money. I'm doing it all myself. Maybe you're doing 12 deals, 12, 15 deals, 30 deals, whatever it is. Not enough hours in the day. That is true. Without an assistant, you're trading time for money. Market uncertainty. Right now, the market is in a place of uncertainty. This is when agents usually go into lockdown mode. It's the opposite. This is a time to scale and create more dollar producing activity in your businesses. And then some of them dabble and help and they never really get committed. And that's a big problem with this particular hire. So I've been there. As a matter of fact, my assistant probably saved my life. It's true. I went through divorce, had multiple suicides, was really faced with some significant depression. She kept my business running during this loss. She kept my business running during these times that I was unable to check in. I was checked out. She managed my teams and my partners and really kept my business afloat. The bottom for me was I had divorce and I had 3 suicides very close to me. Divorced after 23 years, very, very difficult on me. Sometime after that, one of my very close friends committed suicide, Jim Gelati. He was like one of the most profound leaders in my life, an idol I looked up to. Losing him was a big deal, but nothing in comparison to losing my younger brother not too long after that to suicide. Struggling with pain and a couple back surgeries and stuff. He just couldn't deal with it and took his own life without any notice. Very unfortunate, very sad. And there's a big hole in my heart from that one. And then just a couple of short years after that, my ex-wife, Melody, of 23 years I talked about, took her own life. She was in a toxic relationship. We were divorced, but, it led to her not having hope and faith and all the things that go into why you lose despair in life. And she took her own life. I gained weight. I lived unhealthy. I was not eating right. That led to drinking. That led to inactivity, no gym, all those things. I was sued by my partners. I actually had a jury trial to prove my innocence and was found not guilty on all charges. But it was a tough time in my life, and my assistant held all this together. And matter of fact, I was sued, and my partners moved out the day I had cancer surgery of my business. They parted ways and made a plan because they knew I was going to be gone. And, really I was struggling, no time or money. Business was heavily impacted financially. I was not available to work many a times, but I could not do it myself. And this is where the assistant really saved my life. So the turning point for me, I found the power of people leverage. Through my assistant, I started leveraging other positions. I committed to the labor and the assistant hire, and I started working on autopilot as I started putting these systems into place. Now today, fast forward a few years, I have 4 VAs, virtual assistants. I have one in the Philippines, one in India, one in Pakistan, and one in Egypt, and a full-time executive assistant, now considered and called my director of operations. So hiring my assistant mastery, right? What's this look like? Now let's look at how to find the missing person. This is really one of the first important components. So for me, when you're looking for the perfect assistant, you're looking at one of the 5 hiring pillars, right? The very first thing is your assistant avatar. What's the perfect assistant look like for you? I'd be very specific with this. You could really lay out what their expertises are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, all the way down to the fine details of what they've done in the past. Have they been an assistant for at least 2 years? Are they licensed, for instance, in real estate or lending? All those things. And then you're going to advertise for that particular avatar, being specific. You're going to interview. I'm going to help you break these interviews down and help you significantly whittle down maybe a large field. You're going to see I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of candidates that applied. And then what's the structure of this through this process, through the hiring process? How do we do all these things? I'm going to walk you through that and show you. And then finally, the training. How do we train those assistants? So here's, I'm going to show you and prove to you. I had 413 applicants for an executive assistant position in Albany, Oregon. Out of 413 applicants, there's no way for you to filter through all those. So what I did is what I think to be a very brilliant way to whittle down this list. So number one is identifying the perfect assistant, like we talked about. What's that avatar? Find your assistant avatar. What does the perfect assistant look like for you and your needs? Determine what the assistant's tasks will be, and finding the perfect hire. Don't compromise. Take your time. You will find them. They're looking for you as well. So let's start here. What you don't want, right? I like to work backwards. Identify deal breakers in culture, in vision, focus on the non-negotiables. For me, being a military guy, tardiness is a non-negotiable. My assistant has never been late. She's just incredibly tardy because I laid the importance of this in our job description and in my expectations, right? I tell them up front, this is a fireable offense if we can't be punctual. And negativity, I don't allow negativity at all. It affects me. It affects everybody around us. So my assistant is an extension of me. They've got to be positive, and they've got to be shedding light, not living in darkness. Okay. So does not have job description experience. That's another non-negotiable for me. They have to have some experience. They have to have run some kind of a leadership before, an assistant before, a team leader, something that's going to lend to the experience of what I need them to do. All right. So now that we've identified that, let's talk about the next step, which is advertising for the critical hire. I'm going to give you some real easy shortcuts for this. So number one, we have a missing persons report. Just like if you're missing your favorite animal or, God forbid, a family member, what would you do? You'd post signs all around town. You'd let everybody know, hey, I'm looking for somebody. Have you seen somebody? Right? Do the same thing for your assistant. You could do it in social media. You could do it in a lot of areas like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and LinkedIn and all these components, right? Where to place ads and how not to waste your money. I'm going to show you that. And how to filter through these many applicants. You saw I had 417 applicants. All right. Social media ads are by far the easiest, right? You can run Facebook ads. You can run targeted Google ads. All these things will help you. But I think there's a way to do it a lot less expensive. But through social media, you can do a lot of things for free. Leveraging your SOI. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I could leverage that. And then you could step it up with paid posts and Facebook ads and posts for hiring on social. Lots of opportunities to do that on social. So again, here's an example of my sample WiseHire ad. I use WiseHire because it's a very inexpensive way. It's about $200 per month to have them do everything from a disc profile to everything. And you could run it for 1 month and shut it off. So it would cost you $200. I think it's a very, very economical way to do it. And that's what I use, WiseHire. So next screen, you're going to see more of their responsibilities and qualifications. Again, this is going to be recorded and sent to you. See if you want to go back and look at these or screenshot them and, R&D, rip off and duplicate. It's okay. Do that. Take my ads and use them as yours. I'll even supply them for you. And then you could see how I have them in pockets. I have categories of people, and WiseHire will let you to categorize them into a place that you look at, like applied or inbox, or you've done an interview or first interview, second interview. You see mine says go, no go. That's a no for me if they just don't meet criteria. If I just, whatever it is, right? With that many applicants, you've really got to start weeding it down. And then for me, the way I weed them out is, number one, if they're not licensed, I have 400 applicants, 100 are licensed. I automatically will take the 100 and go to the next phase if needed. They do not have past experience. They do not meet my minimum education requirements. Maybe it's a bachelor's degree, maybe it's high school diploma, whatever it is for you. This is up to you. You're allowed to and should be thinking about these minimum standards. All right, now that we've done that, we've got ads running, we've got applications coming in. Obviously, this is a 30,000 foot elevation view, but it's interview time. It's time for us to interview these candidates. I'm going to walk you through some ways to do that. So number one, pre-interviews. This is really the secret to limiting interviews. I ask a series of powerful questions and beliefs, and I video message them to introduce myself, and I ask for a video message back. Okay. So I have applicants send a short 15-second, 30-second video of themselves as an introduction. I tell them Facebook works great because it's only a 15-second instant message opportunity, or send me a message through social media, or they could just pick up their phone and send a quick 15-second to 30-second video. I give them specific directions. Make it minimum of 15 to a maximum of 30 seconds, for instance, or a minimum of 15 to a maximum of 60 seconds. And if they don't follow that, they are not going to follow orders later. This is an important rule, right? So, and then reply to the video with a short hello, and then have them do a small task. Like, for instance, and late you go through 100 people, only 50 send a video. Now you have 50 people in phase 2, right? You could ask them to do a small task for you that is going to help you weed them down even further. Maybe it's do a quick screenshot of how many homes are available in their particular town on Zillow. That way you can look at Zillow yourself and see if they did it correctly, or give them a small task to do. And again, I even tell them, hey, if I'm going to have you do an hour worksheet, I'll pay you our wage of $25 an hour or whatever to do that. But that's when you get to the final 3 or 4 or 5 people that you're really getting down to the nitty gritty, right? So then we move into this first interview phase, right? So I love Zoom interviews. So we've whittled it down from 417 to 100 to 50 to maybe I got 25. And I'm going to tell them I want a short 5 to 15 minute interview. Now, ideally, it's going to be with less than probably 10 candidates, but I want to do a Zoom interview. It's mandatory. And I record that so I could see it, so I could look at it later, so I can go back to it, and I get their permission to do so before recording. Hey, welcome, Cindy. I'd like to record you for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Is that okay with you? If they don't say yes, then we're kind of at the end of the interview, right? So we record that call. We can go back and look at it later. We can keep it for future records of what we promised, what they said they could do, and some of those things, their obligations, right? And then I rate them afterwards on a scale of 1 to 10. A 10 is like a complete home run, and a 1 is a no-go, right? So typically anybody below a 6 is not good for another interview. So I take everybody that was a 6 or higher, I put them into a second interview. And the second interview looks like this. I have them complete a small task, something they would do in the position, maybe even compensate for them like I talked about, right? I'm not talking about a day of work. I'm talking about a 30 or 60-minute task, and it could even be shorter. And I'll pay them, $25 a 1 hour for that, and I'll just Venmo it to them, right? So call references 3 levels deep. This is an important step. If you get a referral from Julie and she says, call my friend Bob. If I call Bob, she's probably already warned him I'm calling. She's probably told him what to say. So I want to call Bob and I would say, hey, Bob, I appreciate, she recommended and referred you, but I'd like to know 2 or 3 friends that you guys know together. So now I'm going to the second level with Bob. I don't really care about what Bob says. He's probably been forewarned, but the 3 people Bob gave me have not. So they'll go, well, we know Jill together, and we know Sam. Sam used to work with us together, and I'll ask for their information to call them. Now, when I call them, I'm calling in level 2, and they're not expecting me to be asking about the candidate, Cindy. And then I might even go another level deep with them saying, hey, who do you know that knows both you and Cindy? So you could really dig into these very, very with depth. And man, that's when the good stuff happens, right? I've had great interview, great first testimonial, second good testimonial, third one, I find out truth that nobody would have told me in the other 2 levels, right? They're on probation. They had an issue with domestic violence, whatever it may be. I'm getting that through these interviews if they're willing to share with me, right? And then maybe at this step, have them meet with the other team members and staff to see if they're a really good fit, right? So now we've gone through that step. Now we're looking at, we're offering them to join us. We may be offering it to 2 or 3 other people, but now we're going to go over the job description with them. We're going to discuss pay, weekly hours, bonuses, benefits, expectations, where they will be working from now with the work from home being so popular. A lot of my assistants work from home. We have VAs that work all over the world, but my physical assistant, I like at least 3 or 4 days a week physically in my office so we can meet and so we can have physical interaction. But it could be anything you want, right? Any variation of that. But me personally, I like to meet with my assistant and go over job duties for the week. It's only for, half an hour, maybe even once a week that we meet in person, right? And then have a probationary period set up after this trial. This is really important. What I do for probation period is I say, hey, we're going to do 30 days, no expectations either way. And if that feels good, we'll go 90 days. And then at 90 days, they'll become a full-time, person on my team. So we have these milestones, these checkpoints that we can say, hey, this is going well. This is not great. I'd like to change these things and watch it again for another probationary period until we get into a full-time position with them. All right, next stage, training the assistant. You've interviewed, you've got them onboarded, you've had your initial call. Now we're training the assistant. This is my structure for training my assistant. The first 30 days, I have the assistant shadow you, right? So the assistant shadows me for the first 30 days. They do nothing but take notes and watch. This is very powerful because they can see how you're doing things, listen to how you're doing things. A lot of people will jump to this and try to get their assistant to take over things right away, just do a CMA and all these things. I think it's a mistake. So 30 to 60 days, you shadow the assistant. So first 30 days, they watch you, they're learning, they're taking notes, they're making desktop icons for shortcuts. They're in the systems learning, they're watching videos, doing all that stuff. But then the next 30 to 60, they're doing it, you're watching them. So you're over their shoulder, tell them what to do, what's going on. 60 to 90, again, you're in your probation period still. You've gone through these steps. Let them fly. Meet with them daily during this period, but let them fly throughout the day. So the next day you could evaluate what they did, see what they did right, wrong, and start stacking and adding onto that. And then 90 plus days, structured daily and or weekly meetings. Mine are daily. I prefer that. We meet for 15 to 30 minutes every single day, 4 days a week. My assistants are off on Fridays, and that's just how we've always designed it because I'm off on Fridays. Okay. So here's an example of way to keep your assistant on task. I do morning meetings every day. And in this morning meeting, I might have all these to-dos, right? Put something on the MLS, return an offer to so-and-so, draft up a team agreement for Bill, whatever it may be. And then I put her top 3 priorities up at the top of the screen. And if you go into that flow chart at the top of the screen, that's the 3 priorities that must get done. And then I have a ledger. You know, if it's got a dollar sign, it needs to be done by noon. 1 is end of day and 2 is end of week. So that gives her another level of priority if she finishes those 3 tasks that are above the priority of these. Okay. So flow charts, I have lots and lots of flow charts. I'm happy to share them with you if we get into some kind of partnership arrangement. And I do all this for free to my organization and my team. I'm happy to share with you. Flow charts are an essential part of this to allow the assistant to duplicate her efforts in case she's ever replaced or on sick, on leave. Anything happens, you have a flow chart to continue that activity, and anybody could take it over and watch that activity through fruition. Okay. So next steps, you've seen all this. What are the next steps? Okay. Number 1, who knows they would sell more listings by hiring a rock star assistant to grow and scale their business vertically, right? Yes, all hands should be up right now. So let me ask you a question. If my team was willing to help you hire this perfect assistant, do you have enough belief after this webinar to pull the trigger? I could promise you this is the best hire of your business life, but you'll probably still have a drunk monkey in your head saying, well, I don't have the money. I don't have this. I don't have that. So now for the good news and the bad news. And I always like to start with the bad news. So let's start. The bad news is statistics say most of you don't believe you can afford to hire an assistant. If you're listening to me right here and now, you're likely saying, this is great, but I need a couple more transactions first. I need to do something first. But if you are working 50 to 80 hours a week, if it was guaranteed to have a positive return, would you then? If I could guarantee you financially that in the next 12 months, you'll look back and say, that was a positive ROI, would you do it? What if you want more free time and leverage? Here's the good news. Whether you're a solo agent or you want to build a team or you just want to work with more sellers, we can help. In fact, what if I said my team and I could help trim 2 to 5 years off your learning curve? Because that's what it is. And I've proven this with my coaching clients. Literally, we will show you a 5-step proven process. Imagine if every repeatable task and leverageable task was handled, and then you could focus on your highest and best use, income producing activity. This may be meeting more with sellers, handling investment properties, doing flips and investments, and doubling your income along the way in your real estate and or lending title business. If I told you I would help, I will put my money where my mouth is. I will do a free 15-minute strategy call with you and lay out a perfect plan for you. I'm going to show you a QR code in just a minute to book this. All right. So number one, a strategic call with Coach Randy Bird. What you're going to get is a review of your current business to grow with an assistant, create a launch plan to support you and your new hire, identify non-IPA activities in your business, and then review your options to hire, grow your business, and create a business worth owning, a life worth living. Who is this for? Agents who are humble, hungry, gritty, coachable, open-minded, and ready. The agent that knows if they don't have an assistant, they are the assistant. The agent that is sick and tired of being sick and tired. The agent that knows they should not be doing $12 to $15 an hour work, or in my case, my VAs are $5 to $7 an hour. And by the way, if you join my organization, if you join my group, whatever level, you get all my VAs for free, meaning that you get all the years of training and everything. You get them for the rate that I pay, and I charge you nothing for that relationship, putting you together. And lastly, the agent that knows they need to do this to grow their business to the next level. All right, here's what to do next. Here's my Calendly link, and I'm going to let you scan that link and book an appointment in my calendar. Of course, you can email or text me or instant message me through all my socials as well. But this is where the rubber hits the road, folks. This is a free call with me to identify those things. And it's not heavy sales. I'm just not a sales guy. I've got a waiting list for my coaching. The idea is for you to get what you need and to get it done and move forward. All right. Couple testimonials. I've got a pile of them. Gail DeMarco, luxury agent, over 1.3 million in GCI out of El Dorado Hills, Sacramento. She is an amazing testament to what we've done, and she is living proof. Jeff Sutherland, this is her assistant, Bella. Bella is crushing it. He brought her on. She was a D1 softball player, I believe, in Arizona, and got her real estate license. Now she's a licensed assistant. Now she's doing transactions and just crushing it. Been an absolute game changer for Jeff Sutherland and his team in Phoenix, Arizona. So let's get it. Schedule a free call with me, Coach Bird, using the QR code, and let's get this together. Let's make this happen for you. All right. So I'm here for you. I'm looking forward to smash that link, get the QR code, book into my calendar. Let's find a time that we have this real quick, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is fast. It's going to go fast. I'm going to just get right into it and break into these things that you need for your business. And let's be honest. This is what's going to take you to the next level. All right. So with that, it's Randy Bird saying, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Get ready for change to elevate your future, your thinking, your life. One relationship, one thought, one decision. You're closer than you think you are. Make a decision and decide.